Thank you so much, Candidate Collins, for doing this interview with me. We're starting a series on our Disability Rights Louisiana social media platforms to interview candidates to find out their position on disability related issues so that our community can be more informed when they go to the polls. So, before we get started, why don't you take a second to introduce yourself to our
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. And thanks to everyone who's paying attention and will be tuning in. My name is Renada Collins. I am a no party candidate, which means that I'm not biased, which means that I'm going to work with any person that's necessary so we can get the overall objective to be established. That's what we have to know. It's time that we are all brought to the table, that we're all given a due process and equal access to opportunity. It is time. And as the next mayor of the city of New Orleans, that is my overall objective. And I will work towards it and I will collaborate with any organization that is necessary so we can get the job done. I'm number 18 on the ballot. So it's Renata Collins, no party, number 18 on the ballot for a better New Orleans.
Great, thank you, Candidate Collins. So, for our first question, what steps would you take to make New Orleans infrastructure and public spaces more accessible to all residents? And how would you ensure that residents with disabilities are at the table when decisions are being made about the city's built environment?
I appreciate that question, right? My overall objective is to make sure that we are all at the table I'm going to be asking some questions and I would like your input today. Because today we're going to start you being at the table. The best way I can know to ensure proper opportunities is to be able to get an insight from you guys now. The table starts now. It don't start after the elections. It starts now. That being said, while we're designing the infrastructure for the city of New Orleans, of course, I'll have to work with the court enforcement with City Hall to ensure how we can get the servitudes, the crosswalks, the sidewalks to have the entrance to where you guys are, so where anyone with a disability is able to access the sidewalks or streets all naturally. I will say this, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with it or if you've seen it on my page on Facebook, that I had a young lady who came into my office and she was crossing over the street. She was legally blind. And she was crossing over because she was directed by the clerk, by the courts to come and put her phones into a location outside of the courts. While she did that, she tripped and fell. That was unacceptable. I've already said that once I become the mayor, I'm going to have a crosswalk that goes from the criminal courthouse to the other side where the parking lot is and the businesses are. That is so important because that neutral ground area it needs an update. It needs an update because hardly anyone is going to drive. And I'm referring to the 2-lane right between Broad and South White Street. So if you're driving on 2-lane between Broad and South White Street and the criminal courthouse is there, there's a need for a crosswalk. And if you're familiar with the area in Mid-City, I live in Mid-City, so I'm going to reference that because it's easy for me. When you get off the streetcar and you go towards the shopping center where the Winn-Dixie is, the CVS are, there are crosswalks. So I want to make sure we implement more of those type of areas throughout the city, not just in Mid-City, not just up in the uptown and things of that nature, but throughout the city so that we have accessibility for all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, for our second question, how will your administration support economic opportunities for residents with disabilities? And what steps would you take to ensure that jobs across the city are truly inclusive and equitable?
Okay. So I will say this. When my grandmother was alive, I would always tell her, I'm going to cater to your abilities. And what I mean by that is that although a person have disability, they still have abilities within themselves. So I will definitely cater to everyone's ability. I will be able to work with organizations in the city hall to make sure that according to one's ability, that they're able to list their skill sets and be given a fair opportunity and chance. I will also like to ask you, because your organization have more knowledge, what do you feel we can do to ensure that opportunity is matched and met? I'm right. I have my pen and paper.
So just so we can keep this video to 10 or 15 minutes for accessibility purposes, I can answer that question once we finish recording.
Okay. Because I want to make sure that you guys have a seat at the table now. The table starts now. And my overall objective is to make sure that we ensure that resources and opportunities are being made met. I do have chances and opportunities, but my overall insight will be to able to assist. Now, and I don't know if you know, but I don't even have it recognized, but I have a dyslexic, right? Which is another form of disability where things, when I read things, I see it in mumbo jumbo ways. So sometimes the comprehension is a little bit different. But you know what? I had to overcome those things as well. So we're going to work together.
Yes, that sounds good. So for my third question, what is your vision for ensuring that residents with disabilities can access safe, affordable, and accessible housing across the city? And how would you address both affordability and physical accessibility in your housing policies?
Okay, so I love that you say that, and I don't know if you're aware of it, but one of the things that I'm working on is increasing the poverty margin. And how does that assist with disability? Because most people who have a disability, some of them have a check that they rely upon, right? So because of the wage of it is so the rate is so low, it stamps them out from resources and opportunities. When we increase the poverty margin, we will be able to increase the services within the disability community. So that's one of the ways that we're going to ensure we have to increase our standards for living that will also be attractive for all people, including those who have disabilities, right? In addition to that, my goal is to, can you ask me that question one more time? Because I have that part.
Yes, ma'am. So, what is your vision for ensuring that residents with disabilities can access safe, affordable, and accessible housing across the city? And how would you address both affordability and physical accessibility in your housing policies?
Okay, that is right. Well, like I said, with that increase of the poverty margin, that's going to be able to afford that there's opportunities for affordable housing for those who are disabled, right? And that's also going to be in my policy and my plan, as well as while I'm going to be building infrastructure in homes, we're going to have income-based housing as well as affordable housing because according to HUD, there are standards, and then there's according to another guidelines where we are able to match according to our income standards.
Right. And for my next question, how would you work to expand access to mental health care in the city, particularly community-based services? And what role do you see the city playing in preventing incarceration of people with mental health conditions?
So those are some excellent questions. And my overall objective with that is to be able to do an assessment, right, on city levels. Hopefully, if we can get the charity hospital back open, we'll create that third floor again. We need that. The city is in need of mental health resources. But one of my favorite things that I absolutely love is that I will plan a program to implement in place that assists families who have loved ones or family members that have disability, and we empower them to know how to recognize it, how to care for them, and how to get help. Because many times when some people have a mental challenge, they're not always in the mindset to be able to care for themselves. So we're going to assist family members to be able to care for those who have mental health situations. And when we keep them out of incarceration, that's why I want to get that charity hospital back, or a facility like the charity hospital to become back in implementation, so that individuals will not go to the jail homes, but that they will definitely go to a place where they'll be better cared for.
Great. And for our final question, how would you advocate for more equitable access to Medicaid and other healthcare support for New Orleanians with disabilities? And what types of policies would you support or oppose?
Okay, when we increase the poverty rate, it will definitely increase the opportunities and resources that will be made available to the people. And when we do so, when we increase that poverty rate for the Medicaid, for resources to attract with the cost of living, that will also increase the opportunities for resources and services to be met at the housing of people who have disabilities and for people who do not have disabilities. But it would definitely be a large sum of people, because those are the people who sometimes need those resources. We have to increase the poverty margin. So right now we only at 138%. Are you aware of that? New Orleans, well, Louisiana is only at 138% poverty, which is the second lowest in the United States of America. The average place is 400 to 600%. When we increase that, and we know that Medicaid is 200 to 200% in New Orleans, but we still need to increase that 200% to like 400 to 600%. When we increase that, it will then allow for more resources. My overall objective is to, like I said, to cater to the abilities of the individuals who need the resources and opportunities. I would definitely love to learn more about how it could be an in-depth of services. I would love to be able to have a conversation with you guys and educate me personally. I'm running for mayor because I know the lack. I know the lack of services that we are receiving on the ground level. And I'm here to reduce the strains that we are experiencing in the city of New Orleans. It is my overall objective to make sure that every person is provided resources and given the due access and opportunity. And we cannot keep going on the old model, because the old model is not working. It's time for a new process to be in place. I cannot use the old model, because if the old model was working, we wouldn't be having a conversation of still need and opportunity, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so that's why we have to create a new model. And the best way we can do that is by having new conversations and making sure that everyone who needs the services or representative is at the table, so we can identify the needs and then create the opportunity from there.
Great. So that's all the questions that we have. Do you have any questions or comments as we wrap up?
You know, the overall objective is that what I would love for us to work on and to work towards is being able to become a sustainable, thriving New Orleans, making sure that you are seen as a person and that every person is seen as a person. We all have the ability to be great in who we are and maximize our potential. As your next mayor, that is what I will ensure, that you are seen as a person and that your skill sets and tools that you need are provided. By partnering with those who have the opportunity to connect and ensure that the services are on the ground level. Let me say this. As your next mayor, I'll have 10 satellite offices in every district. The District E will have 3 satellite offices. So what that means is that every satellite office will have resources and services for those who have disabilities to be able to get the services or share the services they need at that location within their jurisdiction. So that means that we'll have timing good. You won't have to deal with too many steps. You'll have more accessibility to locations within your home area. That's what we'll do. As the next mayor, we're going to have 10 satellite offices, and that will allow for individuals to come in, speak with someone in the location, and get the necessary resources that they need. It's for a better New Orleans. I'm Renada Collins, number 18 on the ballot, and I would love your support so that we can work together to make things great.
Great. Thank you, candidate Collins. Have a great day.
You do the same. Thank you guys for your time. Let's